I do not encourage or condone the use of tobacco or cannabis products, and if you're under the age of 18, you can go ahead and get out of here right now.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my issue with the public school system in the United States and talking a little bit about why I don't like the public school system and talking a little bit about my issues with it and why I think the public school system could be quite a bit better because I think the public school system is just kind of bad in the United States. Now, I don't know much about the European public school system, and I've heard it's quite a bit better, but I have a lot of issues with the American public school system. So yeah, today I'm going to be smoking a little bit of a Camel, a Turkish Jade, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this, and I think I will go ahead and get this lit up and go ahead and start talking a little bit about my issues with the American public school system. Let's get it, y'all. Now, I'm not actually somebody who's ever gone to public school in the U.S. I was lucky enough to grow up in a metropolitan area where there were charter schools and stuff like that. And as a kid, I was actually homeschooled for a little bit. So I am quite biased. My parents are not fans of the public school system either, which is why I was actually never in the public school system. I either always went to a charter school or I was homeschooled, which is something that is very surprising. And I went to a Montessori school for a short amount of time. Which is where a lot of my opinions come from with this, because I genuinely believe that Montessori is a better school system, but that's not what this video is all about. This video is all about my issues with the public school system, and my issues really start with the public school system about how they were funded, kind of thing. The public school system was funded in the 1900s, in the 18 and 1900s by, well, wealthy billionaires who were from the iron industry and steel industry, I believe it was. And the thing is, they were funded by them, and they actually set out something that were like, hey, I want the public school system to look like this. And this is the reason why the public school system in the United States is built like a factory kind of thing. There's set times to do all your work. There's set times to have class. There's a bell kind of thing. Now, what's something that you have at work? You leave at 5 a. You have it from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And basically, it's like a factory kind of thing. There, in a factory, there's a bell to tell you to go home, kind of thing, and that's still how it's like in the United States, kind of thing. That's still how it's like, and that's my issue. Even when I went to charter school in high school, kind of thing, because I went to a charter arts high school. I'm very thankful for the opportunity. Don't get me wrong, but it was still built like a factory kind of thing. It was more like a public high school than it was like a charter school kind of thing. And talking to all of my friends in college who went to public schools, they can confirm it's built like a factory. I will be completely frank, and I'm sure any of you guys who went to a public school system in the United States can confirm it's built like a factory. And that's where my first issue is. But the second issue is they don't actually teach you many useful skills. They teach you, okay, here's how to read, here's how to write, all of that sort of stuff. But do they teach you personal finance? They don't. And in my personal reason, this might sound a little bit crazy, there's a reason about why they don't teach you personal finance in the school system. And the simple reason is, if everybody knows about personal finance, everybody is going to know how to spend their money well. I like to think of myself as somebody who knows personal finance and stuff like that. I know how a Roth IRA works. I know how a 401k works. I know how retirement accounts work. I know how the stock market works, roughly, kind of thing. I know a little bit about personal finance, but I wasn't taught any of that in school. I took a personal finance class in college, but I already knew everything in the personal finance class, and I was very surprised that I already did. And the reason for that, in my personal opinion, is because since high school, I've been watching somebody on YouTube. I've been watching finance YouTubers, especially Graham Stephan. And I love his content. Don't get me wrong. I've learned so much from his content, kind of thing. And I'm just kind of looking at this like, why didn't I learn any of this in high school? And the simple reason is, if everybody knows about personal finance, everybody is going to be smart with money. And for an economy to work, you need people to spend their money. They don't want it. You don't want people in your economy saving them, kind of thing. That's just simple economics right off the bat. If everybody saves their money, the economy doesn't work nearly as well. Which is my personal issue. And they also don't really teach you many useful skills. They only really set you up, like the main thing I learned from high school was that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell. If I'm not going into organic chemistry or biology or chemistry or anything like that, if I'm not going into the science field, I don't need to know that kind of thing. I don't need to know what's going on with the mitochondria and stuff like that. I don't need to know any of that, which is really my main issue with the school system. It doesn't teach you anything, and it's built like a factory. It's built to create workers. It's not built to educate. It's not built for people to learn, kind of thing, and actually have a great life and to actually have a healthy life, kind of thing. It's built to create workers, and that's my issue with the public school system. Now, this video is, of course, made by somebody who smokes cigarettes on the internet and is some edgy kid doing that kind of thing. I'm certainly not a primary source or somebody to trust. This is just my personal opinion. And so you might not be expecting me to make this video, but I enjoy making a little bit of philosophical videos as well. And in my opinion, this is very philosophical because there's nothing about this public school system which teaches us how to actually live our lives. There's nothing on there that teaches us, okay, here's how to set up a Roth IRA to retire. And the reason because of that is because the public school system isn't set up for us to retire. In my personal opinion, there's a reason why the age of retirement keeps going up in the United States, and it's simply because they want to keep us working, kind of thing. They want to keep people working. If everybody retired early because they knew how personal finance works and all of that sort of stuff, then the economy wouldn't work, which is why we're set up to, which is why the public school system is set up to, create workers and to not teach personal finance and all of that. This might seem a little bit like, what's the word? A little bit theory, a game theoryist or a conspiracy theorist. And don't get me wrong, I feel the same way. I think it's a very conspiracy theorist as well. But it's just one of those things where I'm kind of sitting here and I'm just kind of like, what's going on? Why is the public school system set up so badly? And I went to a charter school. I didn't learn anything. I took civics and economics in high school, as every person is required to in high school in the United States, and I learned nothing about the public school system, and or about the public school system, about politics. It's civics and economics. I was supposed to learn about the economy, and I was supposed to learn about politics. I didn't learn anything. All we talked about in high school was the election, because the next big election coming up was Trump versus Obama. Was Trump versus Obama. The only thing I learned about was how elections work in the electoral cycle and all of that, and habeas corpus and stuff like that. I didn't learn anything, kind of thing, which is very scary. But I think that comes into another issue, which, simply put, is that teachers are not paid nearly enough to actually care about what they're teaching. My mother is a teacher, and she is not paid nearly enough for what she does, kind of thing, in my personal opinion. And it's just kind of like teachers are not paid nearly enough to care about the education that they're supposed to be providing, which is, in my opinion, another issue about why the American public school system sucks. In Norway or Sweden or some Scandinavian country, I can't remember it, my mom wouldn't actually be able to be a teacher. She has a degree in teaching, of course, but it's one of those things where if you're in a Scandinavian country, you have to have a master's degree. She doesn't have a master's degree. And it's one of those things where in these other countries, they want their teachers to be educated. But in the U.S., the teaching, at least at my college, is considered a joke of a degree. It's easy, kind of thing. I know so many teaching majors who take 8 classes a semester, and this is from their words, not mine, because it's the easiest classes they've ever taken. And I'm just kind of like, granted, don't get me wrong, you're not getting paid a lot. I would hope it would be easy classes if you're not going to be getting paid a lot. You're getting paid, 45, 50 grand a year to teach a group of 30 kids. That's hell, kind of thing. I would never want to be a teacher personally. I could never do that. It's too much. I love the idea of being a teacher. I could be a teacher to 10 kids, not to 30. I just simply could not deal with that sort of levels of stress. But it's one of those things where the public school system, in my personal opinion, has so many issues. Not only because we're set up to be workers in a factory, not to be workers actually learning how to make new stuff and learning how to build new stuff. We're meant to follow orders. We're meant to follow authority, kind of thing. And that's another issue I have with the public school system, that it's built around authority. Your teachers are meant to be seen as somebody who is an authority figure, kind of thing. And to an extent, as it should be, kind of thing. They're older and they know what's best for you, quote unquote. It's one of those things where, but they're meant to be authority figures. Most people, especially people I know, we're not taught to see teachers as people that were meant to help. They were taught to see teachers as people who you're meant to listen to, kind of thing. My parents always taught me that teachers are there to help, kind of thing. But especially in high school, when I went to the charter school, it was one of those things where the teachers expected us to respect them, kind of thing. Not really for them to help, kind of thing. They might have wanted to help us, but most of the teachers the majority of the teachers I had, were set up to, hey, I'm the authority figure and you need to listen to me. When in fact, That's if you listen to people, you're never gonna become your own person, kind of thing, which is my main issue. But this, as said, this is just my opinion as some kid on the internet talking and smoking a cigarette, kind of thing, who thinks too much in his own head. But that's just my personal opinion, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the American public school system, if you went to the American public school system. And if you didn't, if you're from Europe or something like that, let me know how the public school system works in Europe, because I don't know all that much about it. I took German for 2 years in high school. I don't know any German at all. I didn't learn anything. A German teacher was great. I just didn't learn anything. My lowest grades in high school were in that class. And that's a Siggy, sadly. But I don't know anything about how that school system works, so make sure to comment down below if you're from Europe and you think that the public school system in Europe is better, and please, I would love it if you would explain why. But yeah, as said, that's just my opinion on why the American public school system sucks and why it's set up badly and why I don't like it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram and my book in the description down below. Highly recommend you guys check both those out. I also have my merch down there, of course. Go check that out. Go buy it if you want to, of course. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, stay safe and peace. Have a great one out there. And stay safe, yo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.